positive. How do you feel after doing it?
I mean, it's been amazing without a guy like DeMar DeRozan coming out and speaking about mental health. I probably wouldn't have pressed send yesterday, but no, it was something that I've been feeling for a number of months. As I mentioned, everything's there in the article, but after that November game against the Hawks, I felt I needed to address something, and look inward for myself, but also I thought yesterday was a great chance to be able to help people, and that's why I set out to do it. And I didn't realize that the response would be like it was, or like it is. It's amazing what we're able to do with this platform. But like I mentioned, everybody's going through something, and everybody has things that you can't see, you can't touch, that they're walking around with every day. So I remember talking to my agent. I had showed him kind of what I had wrote, and he said, I understand what you're doing, and we both agreed that even if you're able to help one person, and one person not live with the stigma of thinking it's weird or different to have certain issues every single day, that this is going to be an amazing thing. But the response had been really overwhelming. I set out a tweet yesterday when we were in the air saying, email me at my Players Tribune address, and we've got over a few thousand emails now of people responding with their stories and coming out and say this really helped them. So I just want to continue to push that message, and hopefully I got to thank DeMar, and he tweeted me this morning. I got back to him and just opened the door for other athletes and people of power and influential people just to speak out about this topic, because it is so prevalent, and really looks like it was needed. So we need to beat down that stigma about mental health, and be able to come out and talk things out.
Did it take you a long time to write?
It did. I mean, it was it did take me a while. I didn't know when I was going to do it. I didn't know if I was going to address it potentially in the summer, but I'm glad I did it now.
The grandmother thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned in a tweet that's been really cool. What does that make you feel like? She's kind of famous now.
Yeah, I mean, it's I had talked to a number of people in my life that knew her growing up, and I always wanted to find a way to make her name live on. And yesterday was one of those days, and adding that to the story just it was therapeutic for me, and it was amazing to see a lot of people were very heavy-hearted on that, and just spoke very highly of Grandma Carol. Everybody kind of had hashtags saying Grandma Carol sounds awesome, or it's just a great story. So being able to share that video, I was very lucky to have that, and share that experience. It brings more life to the story and makes it real, and I think will help people in a way.
How did it affect your teammates that you can tell?
I mean, as Joe said, it's been universally positive. And I think one of those reasons is mental health. It doesn't discriminate. It affects really each and every one of us. And I mentioned it all in the article, and the headline of it is that, like, everybody is going through something. So I think, whether it was, talking to Kyle about parenting his kids, and, how he has 2 young boys, or, just talking to LeBron saying, he shook my hand and said, man, you helped a lot of people today. I think, that's what's big. And just them even acknowledging that and retweeting that, and just breathing more life into it is huge. So, I mentioned it doesn't discriminate, but in a lot of ways, young men and young boys are pretty far behind. So that was pretty apparent yesterday in talking to guys, and talking to someone like Jose, who sits next to me on the plane. So there's a lot of follow-ups to this. Overwhelming is a good word to use, and also I mean that in a positive way, a positive connotation. But I'm just trying to read through all the emails, all the texts, and respond to everybody in the right way. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I'm really glad this is out there, and glad I can help.
When you put yourself out there like that, you are going to become the face of components of this. Is that something you consider that
from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, reporters or whoever's going to come up to you and say, can you talk about this again? Did you process that and realize that, like, you are now putting your name on this, and to where, you know, I don't know if I'm asking that right, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know exactly what you mean, and that was something that, yeah, I had to think about, but I've lived it. You know, it wasn't just the singular panic attack I had in November. It was, you know, some deep-seated stuff that needed to come out. I needed to address, and I'm better for it. I'm better for seeing someone and you know, being more open and better to the people in my life. So, no, I think the fact that it does bring home to me and is so close to and near and dear to my heart and the people around me, I'm more than willing to help people. Like Kyle and I mentioned, this could be, you know, life work, not only for myself, but a number of guys that are going to step up in the process. And I think, you know, as I quoted DeMar's tweet and got back to him, he opened the door for me, so I respect and love him for that.
You also mentioned in the story that, especially in the beginning, you were concerned that people would find out.
Yeah.
Now that it's so out there in the open, does it feel like a burden is lifted? Do you think it'll help you deal with your internal issues now that you know it's out there?
Yeah, I think it's therapeutic, and I just want to back up and say I know that there were some reports yesterday about the Oklahoma City game. That was just me being sick. That wasn't anything that had to do with a panic attack. But the meeting that followed was, you know, one of the things that was brought up was Ty Lue had mentioned the panic attack earlier in the season, and I wasn't aware how many people knew. I kind of buried it, put it off to the side, and that kind of started, you know, a big push in the back to why I wanted to write this article. So, you know, at All-Star, you know, all the stuff happened in Parkland. I was sitting in my hotel room watching that, and I was, you know, thinking about young men and the young women that were there and how much work they've been able to do, and, you know, how progressive and how, you know, forward their march is on trying to get things right with gun control. And it's all, I think mental health plays just such a big part in all of this, and that's pretty apparent. So I think it's very therapeutic, and a lot of people will step up and you know, I'm not gonna say do the right thing, but tell their stories in order to help the next person. So in a lot of ways it's paying it forward.
You have somebody to help you read these emails?
Yes, I have a team. Yeah, yesterday I thought, okay, maybe I'm going to be able to get through them in a timely manner, but it definitely takes the masses. It takes a team, because I think we're over 4,000 plus now in just you know, in less than a day. So it's so impactful on my social media platforms, and having that platform, so many people reaching out, and the little moments that I've had with people around the organization coming up and talking to me, talking about what they've went through. It's just, I think it creates, you know, men, women, like I said, it doesn't discriminate. You can talk about anybody. It creates a lot of empathetic and situations and empathy throughout. So it's nice to see people, you know, growing and you know, taking a step forward in this.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.